It's early October in Pennsylvania, and I am foraging for eastern black walnuts. This tree is native to most of the eastern half of the United States and southern Ontario. It is not native to Florida, most of New York, or the New England states. I'll show you how to identify the trees, harvest the fruits, and process the nuts. These are two eastern black walnut trees. This is what the trunk of the tree looks like. These are the fruits on the tree.
The leaves look like this.
Here's some of the fruits that have fallen to the ground.
We just had a frost and the tree dropped its fruits. The ideal time to pick them is when they're green and they look like this, and you can push in a little bit with your thumb and leave an indentation.
The color can vary. Some fruits look a little more yellow.
The fruits can vary in size. The leaves and stems and fruits of the walnut tree have a very distinct odor. The harvested fruits should have that distinct smell. Avoid picking up fruits that look like this. After the fruits are harvested, the outer hull should be promptly removed. There are many methods. There's not really a correct way. You should do the way that works best for you. Some people step on them and roll them under their foot to remove the hull. You can run them over with a car. A hole the size of the nut can be drilled into a board, and then the nut is pushed through the hole, letting the shell behind. Some people even put them in cement mixers with stones. I like to take a sharp knife and cut entirely around the outer hull, and then twist it. You'd want to wear gloves to do this. And then squeeze the nut out of the half that it sticks into. This hole has some worms in it, and they won't harm the nut. After the hulls have been removed from the nuts, discard the hulls. It's not advisable to compost them. There's a toxin in black walnuts that kills some plants. Clean off the remaining hull from the nuts. Some people pressure wash them. You can put them in a bucket and agitate them around with an old broomstick. You could scrub them with a brush. Again, be mindful not to dump the water around any plants. After the remainder of the hulls have been removed and the nuts have been washed, to prevent mold during the curing process, put the nuts on a screen in the sun for a few hours. Make sure the squirrels don't steal your work. If you can't put them in the sun, put them in an oven, maybe 90 to 100 degrees for about 12 hours. After the nuts are thoroughly dried, bring them inside and hang them in mesh bags or put them on a screen. The curing process takes a minimum of 2 weeks. Ideally, you should cure them for 4 to 6 weeks before you crack them. After the nuts are cured, it's time to crack them. Notice that the nuts can look different If you recall earlier in the video, I showed you two different fruits and they were significantly different sizes. Some people like to crack the nut with a hammer. You place the nut on a hard surface and then strike the top of the nut with a hammer. Safety glasses are a good idea. I prefer to use a vise. Place the nut between the jaws of the vise. And then slowly close the vise. And crack the nut open. Use a pair of diagonal pliers to remove the nut meat from the rest of the shell. You can just snip away at the outer parts. To help eliminate any shell debris, vibrate the nut meats on top of a screen with 1/8 inch spacing. For long-term storage, freeze the nut meats. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving me a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.